what's up? It's your girl Tamara, aka Girl from Harlem.
And this is Ray Daniels, a.k.a. the culture referee.
And this is The God Show.
Boop, 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 boop. And today we have a good friend of mine. This is a guy that I've always admired. When I was coming up, I wanted to emulate how his relationship was with his artists. He never knew that from me, by the way.
I appreciate that.
That's why I keep asking for glasses, so I can be like,
I never knew that.
you know, and this is a guy who I've watched from a distance make legendary moves, legendary plays. And the thing I like the most about him is that he just seemed like he didn't give a fuck. You know, some people do great shit and they can't wait for you to say, "Did you see me?" Tez was a dude that was doing great shit. Was like, "All right, yeah, I'll go home. No pictures, no talking. I'm going." Yeah. So the fact that we got Cortez, aka Tez, on the show, I'm excited. So everybody give it up for Tez.
I'm honored, man. I'm honored to be here. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I've been asking you little questions off camera. So, you know, a big thing here is where you're from. So let the people know where you're from.
Born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana.
All right now. So what was it like growing up in Louisiana? What was the music scene? How did you even find the passion to even get where you are today?
I mean, growing up, I grew up single parent. Mom had me when she was like 16, so we didn't have much growing up. So the poor, didn't have much. Living in the hood, the Fifth Ward of New Orleans. First part of my life, then moved to New Orleans East, probably the second part of my life. But probably the normal story of the.
What's the difference between the
two
wards?
So the Fifth Ward is like way worse than the East. At that time, the East was like the place when you get a little money. It's like middle class black people.
Oh, okay.
But we found a good Section 8 house out there, so my mom was able to get us out and move us into a nice Section 8 type house in a nice neighborhood. I went there, it was like culture shock because everybody was like just playing basketball on the park, and I was like, oh, nobody on the corner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything was just. It was totally taboo, but it was a blessing. So, you know, learned a lot, man. New Orleans, you got to grow up fast because you see so much. And I realized as I grew older and I traveled and got out of the city, and I realized the things that I saw wasn't normal for a kid to be seeing and growing up how I was growing up, you know. I realized that, but it definitely helped me. I tell everybody all the time, if you could be born and raised in New Orleans in the conditions that I was raised in, I think you could survive anywhere in this world. A lot of people from the city usually always say that because, you know, I realized it coming out that we see so much, man. We see so much death and dealing with so many things, like, you know, being independent on your own, knowing how to move, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, college taught me that.
You from New Orleans, bro.
Yeah.
New
That's
you ever been to New Orleans?
New Orleans too.
You ever been to New Orleans, Tamara?
One time, and they told me don't get out the cab. They told me like go where you going, stay. Like they were very. Had me scared.
When I was on tour with certain cities where you went, they was like everybody stick together.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Like hey, everybody sit together, we eat together. And New Orleans was one of them cities where it was like, you know, you just start understanding like the culture that they don't play. By the way, I say to everybody, I'm like New Orleans and Memphis don't get enough credit for how Atlanta's music scene is what it is.
100%.
I think they should get it. Yeah, I definitely think. I agree with that because, I mean, we created a genre of music and jazz, and as you go through Mississippi up the Bible Belt, that's where the blues, and it's transcended more to Memphis, but, you know, I think northern Mississippi, that Delta area, Memphis, especially early on in soul music and jazz and soul, created the rhythm and blues that we know today. So, I appreciated that more when I had to leave outside of actually get in the music business and travel outside of the country to see how much people appreciated the city of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Because it was places like when I was in the French Quarter, I used to go to the French Quarter and literally beat on buckets and drums for money. You know what I'm saying? You see that kid beating on buckets for money? I was that kid because the quarters wasn't that far from where I grew up at. So we used to go on, you know, hustling, trying to get money from the tourists and stuff, but I never really appreciated the rich culture of music that we have. So when I go back now, especially in this era of my life, I try to go to all the little bars. It's music everywhere. Any bar, club, you go to Frenchman Street, you know, it's music all around. So I appreciate it much more now. But it took me going to like Europe and Australia. And I was like, you're from New Orleans, like the music, the culture. I'm like, telling me about places I had never been. And mind you, New Orleans is not that big. You can get through New Orleans in 30 minutes, one side to
really?
another. No matter, it's not big at all. It had 1 million people, but you could get there. I was mad at my mama growing up. Like, we moved to the East, and and going to the fifth wall, my grandparents still stayed. She's like, boy, that's too far. I don't feel like getting up, driving that far, eating up all my gas money. And realizing today, it's 15 minutes away. I'm like, bro, living in these big ass cities I done lived in. I'm like, man, really? I be messing with her. Like, used to get mad at me, cuss me out when I be trying to go catch the bus and trying to get to my grandma because she didn't want to wake up and bring me. It was literally 15 minutes, bro.
Exactly. That's crazy.
After we thought it was far, though, like the east and downtown.
It feel big. When you're a kid, but when you're a kid, everything feels big. Yeah. Grandma's house feel big. Everything feels like.
Grandma's house feel big.
Everything feel big. It's like you a kid. The world just feels like huge to you. So I get that. I see that.
15 minutes.
Yeah, so we spoke a little bit. You said that you went to Jackson State.
Yes.
And you majored in mass comm.
Yes.
And you almost ended up over at CNN, but then you got a phone call. So where were you at? What were you doing? Tell me about.
The phone call?
I want to know. Okay, so I'll be clear with the people. So he went to college, majored in mass communication, was getting ready to go work at CNN, and then Lil Wayne called him and was pretty much like, cursing, and then you coming over here. So what were you doing? What was that conversation like? And what made you say, I'm going to go that direction?
Where was it? I was getting ready to graduate. This was like
high school.
No,
college.
Okay.
I'm at Jackson State University. So this is 2003 fall. Maybe like October, November sometime. I get a phone call from Wayne, Wayne was my best friend. So we met Wayne was 11, I think I was 14. So we've been almost 30 years now, 29 years friends.
That's crazy.
So
where y'all meet? I want to know y'all. I want to know the stuff.
Oh,
How
we
y'all
met.
meet?
So we met at there's a secondary school, 7th to 12th grade school called McMain in New Orleans. It was a magnet school.
McMain?
Oh, y'all was bad.
Like McMain.
Like Mac was there too.
Oh wow.
So Mac, Currency, and Wayne all went to school together.
That's crazy.
We always at McMain together. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so we was always in the hall.
Danica got to step it up.
So it was one of the best public schools in the city. So you had to take a test to go. It was a magnet school. So you had to take a test to get in there. And you had to maintain a certain GPA to stay in there. So, so it was.
Y'all were smart kids, baby.
Yeah, we were smart.
Oh, wow.
We were smart. We were from the hood, but we were smart. We was hood kids. We was hood smart kids. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So.
Shout out to the hood smart kids.
So the crazy thing is, so we went that way. And mind you, 7 to 12, we met Wayne. Wayne was there. It so happened Wayne was we had like the 7th to 8th graders had a lunch, and then the 9th to 12th graders had a lunch, right? So Wayne was in this drama class. It so happened to shift his lunch period to be on our lunch period as upperclassmen. So he was in there picking his head, always walking with a chick, you know what I'm saying, clean. I'm like, who this nigga's walking in my school trying to, I'm like, come here, we got, and he was on our lunch period, so we got tight and cool like that, and then he shot himself that same year. It's the 7th grade year, so like soon as when school starts. So when he ended up coming back, it was a big thing, mind you, because this is a fucking madness. It's mixed now. Yeah, it's like 50-50 white and black. Oh wow! So that traumatized all the white kids that was there. It was a big thing. Yeah. Kids shoot himself at McMain. Like
he shot himself in school?
No, it was at his
house.
Home.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, so when he came back. This is how we got tighter. So when he came back, his mom blamed because he was watching a Biggie video, emulating the video, and that's when the gun went off. So his mom, he was already trying to be a rapper at that point, right?
At 11.
At 11, he was the only one in school, in this whole school. Mind you, how popular rap is today.
This ain't when rap is the thing. It's like
he's the only person in the entire school walking in the hall, beating on his chest. Rapping lyrics, the only one. He's been knowing. I remember his first rap. He showed me like this was one of my first rap. It was about fast food restaurants, and he was killing like about fast food, right? So his mom was like took him away because she was like, "You're not about to do this rap shit." Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is a bad influence, and took him away from him. So he was trying to figure out a way to get into extracurricular activities around the school.
So I asked you a question. So is Baby and Slim around at this time?
Yes, he had just met them that same year.
When he was 11.
When he was 11.
Wow.
He had just met them when he was 11. DJ Khaled was working at the radio store Odyssey. He was the DJ
in Miami, in New
Orleans.
In
New Orleans, yeah.
What?
So it was a meet and greet. Cash Money had it because Cash Money was huge locally.
Yes.
When you talk about what music we was listening to in New Orleans, like we didn't really listen to a lot outside because we had this labels called Cash Money and Big Boy. Big Boy probably had Mystical, y'all familiar with.
Yeah, of course.
Who kind of made it out. But Partners in Crime, they had another. But they were like the mainstream labels in the city. Like they were like huge to us. So Cash Money had like an album signing party, and a dude from Wayne Hood named Lil Slim invited him out to rap for Baby, right? And at Odyssey Records, Khaled was literally working for the store and was the in-house DJ. And that's when Wayne got Baby's beeper number, and literally started blowing him up, rapping for him on his beeper.
So at this time because the way I got introduced to Cash Money, I've been bumping Cash Money since I think 95, was BG, It's All On You Volume 2.
Way before that.
Okay, that's before that. Because
Yes.
Wayne was like 12, 13 when that happened. Because
this is 93. It's like 93.
Okay, cool.
90.
Yeah.
No, it's 95. It's 95. It's that year. No, it's that year. All on Volume 2 might came out a year or two after that.
Yeah, because Cash Money, like BG was the star of Cash Money
he was
at the
the
time.
star.
Like
Yes.
you grew up listening. If you knew Cash Money, you knew Cash Money because BG was a star.
Yeah.
And then Wayne and Turk and they came, and then Juvenile obviously became a big star. But when they came 95, 96, like Wayne was 14 in 98, right?
Yeah,
What-
98. How old was I? I was 18. He had to been 15.
Yeah, because
14, 15,
loud pipes, big rims, nigga. Like he was,
Yeah.
because he said he was 14 on that song.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Crazy.
He met Baby at that point, was blowing him up. So he knew them at the time and was thinking his rap career was about to pop off because
he wasn't wrong.
he wasn't wrong at
Right.
all.
He was
But
on the same.
so that happened. His mom took him out, it's like you can't rap anymore. And around the same time, two things happened while Albon, I think, got real tight. They ended up moving to the East. You know what I'm saying? So I told you, this is when moving on up.
Yeah.
Black middle class. So him and his pop, his step pop, he called it, he referred to him as Pop Rabbit, and his mom, they moved down the East. So two things happened. And I was still in school. I used to catch the bus. I had to catch the bus to school to the East.
Mm-hmm.
So he used to catch the bus home. So first his mama took him out, so he had to get into anything I was getting into. So at that time, I was like bored. I had fucking ran track, played football, tried basketball, like all these different sports. I was like bored, and me and my guy, we just started a marching band, because marching band like sport down south in New Orleans especially. Right, so we started a marching band in my high school. So he joined the band.
Yeah.
So Wayne joined the band, was on the drum line.
Hold on, what instrument was you playing? What instrument was he playing?
Well, we both played cymbals in the band. Like, there's pictures out there somewhere. But he joined the band, and he'll catch the bus home with me. So our bond got tight, but he never won. He was just doing that to do something.
Yeah.
He'd come by my house, and his mama pick him up later when she get off of work and shit. But we became tight, and I introduced him to, so he started hanging out with all my friends who was around the park.
Yeah.
Became squad up our friends. That's a whole nother story. But that's how our bond got tight. So, and mind you, Mac Man, Currency, I was in there.
That's crazy.
We all in school together. Currency was not a rapper though. Currency
That's crazy.
was the kid who always fly and ahead of the game in fashion. Used to be like, man, what does he got on? Man? That dude doesn't. What do you have on, right? And Mac too. Mac was just a hooper.
Yeah.
Mac just played basketball all the time.
That's
so
crazy.
So nobody was rapping but Wayne at the time. Crazy enough, but that's how our bond got tight. And what I did once the band shit, I got real good at it really fast and fell in love with it, and got a scholarship to Jackson State. I'm marching the Sonic Boom in the South. Marching the Marching Man, got a scholarship.
So you got a scholarship, and by this time, Cash Money is kind of taking off.
They're not there yet. This is 97.
Okay.
So why?
But you gotta be.
They blowing.
Because nigga, you thought they was rich as fuck. They were. By the way, Cash Money was talking being rich shit.
Yes.
Like.
Had a helicopter.
I got an expedition. I got a car. Yeah, they was talking big money shit when it was like before Universal came. They was like, because it almost felt like they knew they was in No Limit Shadow, and they was like, y'all soldiers, we gonna be popping that rich.
You know the crazy thing
shit.
about No Limit? Nobody knew in New Orleans. Nobody knew No Limit. They was
What?
not in the city. P didn't pop off in New Orleans. He popped off on the Bay. Coast.
Yeah.
So New Orleans, like when I went to college, because he came in '97, right? And I think he got a lot of love from New Orleans because, he had the connection.
Yeah, for sure.
The roots based off of, you could check and see you're really from the city, right? But it didn't pop off. Like Cash Money and Big Boy was the biggest labels.
Which label had Dragon from the River?
UNLV. That's UNLV.
Yeah.
That's Cash Money.
Because Manny Fresh did yeah.
So that was Cash Money before BG Pop.
UNLV
was the biggest.
And they had a song called Dragon from the River. They was dissing Mystical.
Yeah.
So you gotta remember, Mystical is like I grew. You know, I'm in Atlanta. We either gonna listen to booty shake music or we gonna listen to New Orleans street music and Tennessee street
Drag
music.
You from the River.
Drag You from the River.
Oh, that sound like beef.
And
that sound like
was
beef.
on the opposite label that was hot, Big Boy. So
Yep.
that was the beef. So you know when P came, I had just went to Jack State. Everybody knew him, but Mississippi they loved damn Master P. And I was like, bro, I don't even know this dude. This dude music.
He from New Orleans.
This dude, nobody knew him.
So nobody Calio Projects.
Nobody knew him, bro. Nobody, like, his music was not playing in the city until it hit big.
So hold on. So you mean to tell me y'all wasn't playing Bounce That Ass? Because
When
that was like
came out like
95. Bounce That Ass was like 90. Cause I remember I just got my license, and it was like 95, 96.
Nothing before that. Like 97 when he first kind of hit like national, like About It. That's when, you know, everybody was like, and I think the city embraced P a lot because he was nation shit. We ain't had nothing outside the city.
Exactly.
I say that's ours, right?
Exactly.
On a nationwide level. So, but it wasn't like that growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like Cash Money was the biggest shit growing up.
So they always had the city.
They always had the city.
Shout out to Baby and
They
Slim.
always had. Shout out to Baby.
That's
and
amazing,
Slim.
bro.
Yes, they always had it, bro. So, so I went off on my journey to Jackson State, and Wayne, you know, 99, when Wayne put out his first
Block
album.
Is Hot.
Block Is Hot 99.
Mm-hmm.
Back That Ass Up came out. Juvenile, that 400
Life
Degrees came out,
changing.
changed the entire game. That's when they signed to Universal. Everything changed.
Everything changed.
Everything changed. Wayne
Yes.
was like, "Oh, you want this PT Cruise? I was driving PT Cruise. I was driving.
That was everybody had cars. It was cars.
It was giving.
Yeah.
I was
Get
like, oh shit! In college, I was balling out at Jackson State. What are you talking about? So everything changed. But to get to your point, as we long-winded, along that journey, I did take a couple. When they did get hot, they went on a couple big tours, Nellyville tour and the Cash Money Rough Riders tour. I sat out. I took out a couple semesters just to see if I fit in, and I was just like,
So how does that phone call come? Cause you 18. It's not like you like a businessman.
That
Like
was
you,
like, yo, we're going on the road. Poe, they
Pull
call
up.
me Poe. Yeah, Wayne called me Poe. That's what Tez Poe, Rich Porter, like
Yeah.
that story. But
Oh wait, I heard that. I heard
Rich
that.
Poor.
I caught
Rich
it.
Poor. No, I like that. So they call you, said, Poe, we need you. Come on the road.
like, Poe, you want to come? You want? Oh, my bad. Did I hear? Yeah. It was like, Poe, you want to come? You know, I'm going on a tour. You know what I'm saying? Baby said I could bring 2 people. You want to come on the road? And I'm like, yeah, shit. You know,
What
You
did
won't
your
worry about
parents
your
say?
mom. I'm about to say, what's your mom say?
Oh,
You
you're
want-
right. Like, what did your mother say or parents?
I don't even know my mom even knew this.
Oh,
She might not.
You just left.
She might have thought I was still in Jackson. She might have thought I still was in Jackson. She might not even know.
Oh, you were out of control.
I don't think she knew. Nah, she didn't know at all.
Were you scared to take that risk?
Huh?
Were you scared to take that risk?
Nah, I was just living.
He
I
going
was
with his
like,
friend.
yeah.
They driving fancy
What are you
cars.
talking about?
I'm leaving. My mother, if I leave
Man,
college,
them niggas turned.
My
Let me,
mother
okay,
was-
let me say something from his perspective. Everybody in college, everybody I know in college. I know one friend who's on a nationwide tour.
I'm doing
Women,
that.
cars, money,
Going-
game. I'll talk to
We
y'all
never
later.
Sorry,
been.
Mom.
I never seen nothing outside of New Orleans and Mississippi where I was. You know what I'm saying? Besides the
Yeah.
school, the place I was traveling with the marching band, I had never been anywhere. We had never. I had never flew on an airplane, nothing like that.
We out of here.
At that time.
No
so
Disney
I was
World.
like, I'm about to go see. No Disney World. I
Did you
ain't do
think you
that.
was going back
Yeah.
to school? You was like, I'm gonna go see the tour, then I'm gonna go back to school.
I didn't know, but once I got on it, you know, I went back to school. Then Nellyville tour came. That was the second one. I went back out. Then I was just like, then I finally was just like, you know, just trying to. Wayne was like, come on. I was like, I don't even see, because I wasn't looking at it as a business at that time.
Yeah.
I was literally just hanging out, just helping him carry his
Yeah.
bags and stuff like that, packing up his bags and
Yeah.
stuff, and being like his assistant basically on the road. And I was like, I told him, I was like, you know what, this for you. I'm glad, I'm happy you finally, you know, your dreams is coming through. I'm gonna go back and go to school. Seriously. But the crazy thing is, I tell this high school story. I think I was telling somebody yesterday. I was like, when Wayne was the only one rapping in school, I used to tell him like, "Yo, that's not taking us nowhere, bro. We gotta
He's like,
hustle." I was like,
we gotta get some other
I was
plans.
I'm like, our plan, we gotta hustle these books. We had this magnet school, and he throw that shit in my face to this day.
I already say I probably never go away.
He's like,
What?
you see, he throw that
You
shit
told
to
me that this shit was gonna
He's
take
like,
us
see,
nowhere.
now you working for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Nigga, we in Africa right now because of this.
yeah,
exactly.
because I'm like, dog, that rap shit cool. You nice, you cold. I'm like, but because at that point, I didn't see the business out of it. This early night, it was like nobody was popping in New Orleans at all outside of being local. So I'm like, the best situation I saw was these fucking black doctors and lawyers and engineers coming back to our school, and I'm seeing a person from my hood that's went the college route. That's making. I was like, that's what we gotta do. We gotta hustle these books and get out of here. He never had that. He never had that.
Tez was always on education.
Yeah, I was like, this is the way we gotta go.
This gonna get us out.
This gonna get us out of the city and get us some money,
crazy.
and really gonna get us some real money. So jumping fast forward.
But who was the second person? He said, "I'll take two people on tour." He brought you, and who was the
And
other
my
person?
homie Mario.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Mac Main didn't go. It wasn't.
No, Mac wasn't even around at that point for us, like around us, our crew. That came when we started. Mac and Wayne grew up in the same neighborhood, Holly Grove, so they knew each other from way back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before I knew Wayne, Mac and Wayne knew each other because they used to stay down the block from each other,
Sure.
right? But Mac started coming around us when the first iteration of Young Money was created.
Because I was going to ask you. So what I was going to say is, how are you there? So you're 18, 19. Your best friend is 15, 16. Y'all making money. It's fun. I'm pretty sure you probably got the most amazing stories.
Oh yeah, we
like
have
just amazing stories.
College is fun.
The smile says it all.
But
then how do you what? So like, obviously, I think Wayne is the example. I would say Wayne and Jay-Z are probably the two examples more than anybody of a 20-year plus career. That wasn't even possible.
Yeah.
Like the rap careers was 5-6 years back then. When did you get to the point where you was like, you got involved in the business, and when did you get to the point where you like, all right, this is what we got to do?
When I first jumped in, after that first phone call happened, I prayed on it. That's the why, to get back to, I know I came right back to him, but right after I prayed on it, got my calling was to say, protect your best friend. I'm saying you gotta go over there and protect your best friend. So I didn't know it. So I was like, forget about this job offer I had from CNN, and I was like, I'm gonna go out there and just look out for him and figure it out. But one thing I did take to answer your question was, what I understood was when I started studying it now, studying the business as much as I could, reading up on it, and I understood that the career span was 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Seven was a great career.
Yeah, you get 7, you're fucking amazing, right? So the first thing I told Wayne, I was like, listen, one thing I took, because I only could lean on my growing up in New Orleans and my time at Jackson State to kind of pour into this next journey I was doing in the music business. So I was like, one thing I understand is Wayne, careers 5 to 7 years. At this time, he was already 4 or 5 in. This was 98. This is 04 when I started. So
shit, he about 5 years in, because Juvenile dropped 98.
And he dropped 99.
He dropped 99.
So so it was already almost 5 in. So I was like, listen, the one thing that we got to do is build your brand, because careers last. I kept it real with 5 to 7 years, even though I see this, what you're gonna do. What you could be, what I believe, and what you could believe, there is this reality about the music business. And I was like, we have to find a way to build a brand for a couple reasons. One, if you decide to say, hey, I'm ready to hang this up, I don't want to do this anymore, you have something to stand on that you can make money off of. Or secondly, Lord forbid you lose your voice or something, and something happens, we have to have something to stand on, right? So I was like, we have to focus on, outside of the music, I have to build this brand. The first thing under the brand umbrella that we understood, we thought about Young Money from fucking high school. That name. Wow. It was like, oh, Cash Money, the biggest thing. We could create a label called Young Money.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
No way.
So I was like, that's the first thing we knew. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So that's the first thing we knew, was to build. Okay, I was like, the first piece we're gonna do, let's create
a label.
This label.
So what's the next step? See, because like a lot of people, young managers watch this, and y'all are literally the example of like no bullshit greatness.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm literally listening to you, and you're like 23, 24, talking about a brand.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
hold on.
establishing
Before
that.
we
Who the
go,
fuck thinks like that? You feel me?
wait, I got a question before we go because we move. When you said that you got a kind of calling to go protect your best friend, what did protection look like? And what did you feel like you had to do? So what are you protecting him from? What was your job?
It was just being there. You know, that's all I.
Having somebody you could trust.
I didn't know that what it was. It was just make sure I was present.
It's big bro shit.
Yeah.
It's like that's my little bro.
I'm here
He's
for
younger.
you.
I'm here for you.
You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
have somebody in his corner.
I'm here. For
I mean,
you, yeah.
it's not even that. It's like you got looking from this standpoint. Like obviously, time is told, but BG was the original star.
Yes.
Juvenile was the breakout star.
Yes.
Wayne was the baby. Him and Turk were the
Yes.
baby. So you got to look at it like there's no guarantee that Wayne is gonna. I mean, no disrespect to Juvie and BG, but look what happened. Look at how fast they fell off their cliff.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Wayne had this point in time where, and I always say it's like girls around your age. I don't know what it is, but if you talk to a girl around 35, like 28 to like 35, like they are obsessed. It was something that y'all did in that little 2004 era where he started doing squad up mixtapes and rapping. That was like y'all became. It was like y'all was the GOAT that demanded that his base made him the GOAT.
The Squad Up mixtape came when I was at Jackson State too. That was really a precursor to that. Actually, I forgot about that.
Because you know another thing.
Yeah.
I'm really a fan of this shit.
Yeah.
Especially this era. Juvenile and BG wasn't known for being rappers. Like they could rap.
Yeah.
But Lil Wayne was kind of like it's like being under Juvenile who's saying dope shit, but he wasn't like ill MC. I don't think Juvenile is anybody's top
Metaphor,
10.
similes.
He wasn't that kind of a rapper. He was a great song maker. Back that ass up. You know what I'm saying? Like
hits,
a good
but not
storyteller,
girl,
lyricist.
this
too.
Juvenile, you don't know we on fire. Like he was doing that. So Wayne had to eventually establish himself as an MC.
And the crazy thing is, he was only when you brought up Squad Up mixtapes, he was only able to do that through Squad Up tapes because, and mind you, nobody had ever had put out a mixtape in New Orleans before Squad Up mixtapes ever. We had that didn't even exist before the Squad Up series. But what it was when Wayne was with Cash Money, he had to. This is how I used to look going to the studio. We used to go to the studio. Man, he'll have a beat. They have a subject, or the hook could be a subject that you had to rap about. He had to plug and play a rap about whatever those songs were.
Oh wow!
So he had no freedom. So while people gravitated to it, especially up north, and how it transcended with those mixtapes in that era, why people gravitated toward because he was able. That's when he was able to be the MC he wanted to be.
I'm about to say because it wasn't what they was known for.
He discovered Jay-Z. So I remember the last time he stopped writing. He did this freestyle called 10,000 Bars. He was like, shit, Jay not writing. I ain't gonna write no more. So we did this one. He had this composition book with all his raps, and he had this damn freestyle. He had DJ Rod Smooth was playing beat for beat, and he was just ripping them off. You can hear this out there somewhere on YouTube. He ripping it all, and he became the lyricist. That's when he was becoming the lyricist that he was, that you're talking about.
That's when he established himself as that. Like people don't understand that shit. That's why I give y'all so much props because he was more like Cash Money was more like it was like flashy.
Yep.
Nigga, like he said some dope shit, but when he went in that era of rapping,
yep.
And, you know, for me, I'm like, Wayne is a couple years younger than me, so I'm like, you know, I just know him as a kid. So when he went to that era and I'm seeing people, girls, you know, you trying to get at bitches, and they like, man, Wayne, this nigga Wayne is the. I'm like, Wayne? That nigga really had to reestablish himself and set it off.
I
So,
agree.
kudos
Because when
to y'all.
I wasn't looking, I remember him sitting in like some chair and he was like, I'm the king of rap. And I was like, what is he talking about? Like, what king of rap are
Best
you?
rapper
And
alive.
Best rapper
that's what it was.
When he said that?
That's what it was. I
Stood
swear
on
to
it.
God, he changed how I look at things. I really feel like Lil Wayne started that. If I say it, y'all going to believe I say what I am. And everybody started saying out of nowhere he was the best rapper. I'm like, he was.
No, everybody at a certain age group and under, because he fed them. That's what I'm telling you. Like,
yeah, listen, I listened to all
like
the
Jay-Z
Jay-Z
actually had to acknowledge him. Like,
Yeah.
hold on, this nigga is.
He had to, yeah.
Hold on,
He
y'all.
forced- he
it was like a
forced
groundswell
it.
coming up where it's like, you know, like people were obsessed with what y'all were doing. So you saying that, so now you're like, we're going to establish a brand. So now it's like Young Money. We got the label. What's next?
What's
How did
next?
y'all pick who y'all put on Young Money?
Well, that's when Mac Man and Currency came about.
So he got to be my friends. It
Those
just
are
got to be the
friends.
homies.
So it's Mac Man, Currency. That first iteration of the label at that point that's when we went grab Mac, because Mac was Mac was running around with Slim, because Mac knew Slim really well. So he was around, but he was more on the Cash Money side. You know what I'm saying? I say that because Cash Money, Young Money definitely was.
It was different.
Yeah. But so Mac was over there. I mean, was over there, was running around with Slim a lot. He was real cool with Slim, and Wayne was like, "Shit, we could put Mac my child. You from Holly Grove, bring him on." And Currency did his stint with No Limit, through his Mr. Marcello, which was his cousin or uncle, somebody related with P sign. So he was running around doing some stuff with P, but I think they was phasing out or something like that, or something happened, and Currency was a free agent. So that was the first iteration of it.
So y'all didn't originally start Young Money under Cash Money.
No, it was under Cash Money
Got
the whole
you.
time. It was under Cash Money the whole time. But that's who kind of that label wise, it was all sync. As far as how it was running,
How it was moving.
I was running the whole
Young Money.
business of Young Money
So-
through the entire time.
So what year is this?
This is 05.
So this is still Squad Up is still the main artist on Young Money.
Squad Up is gone.
Okay.
They left right before I came. A lot of the guys, some of them came back, like Streets and Gutter. They started with Squad Up. They was gone for a minute. Can't end up coming back later on.
So you guys go. So it's like Young Money is the label. Mac Main and Tez are running it. Wayne is the artist. And are y'all like we gonna sign artists?
Mac is the artist. I'm the only.
So
I'm
Mac's an
running.
artist.
Yeah, I'm running everything.
Oh,
It's just
wow.
me. I was the DJ, the assistant, the security, and running the damn label. I did everything. It was me. No, it was me. It was me and him. We were just.
Yeah.
Mac was an artist.
So Mac's an artist on Young
Mac's
Money.
an artist.
And Currency's the artist on Young Money.
Yes.
Oh,
They
okay. Cool.
artists on Young Money. So
I knew Currency, but I didn't know Mac. I thought Mac always kind of came in on the business side.
Nah, Mac came up inside like later, like post Drake and Nicki, like that iteration coming, like, you know, because
So-
Mac was on Every Girl in the World, and
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I'm saying. So he still was an artist. He shifted like way
when
later
shit started
on.
really going crazy.
Well, he wanted to take a bigger role in helping out as we were growing. You know what I'm saying? So Wayne was like, "Yeah, you could be the president of the label. You know, Tez like CEO and
Yeah.
run. You know, and you
Yeah.
can help Tez out with all the artists and, you know."
So you running Young Money.
Yes,
And the first artist y'all signed is Mac Main and Currency.
right.
Okay, cool. So they are on Cash Money too.
Yes, it's Young Money, Cash Money.
They
So
got
it's,
no
it's a
choice.
joint label. So yeah. So yes. So it was linked on paper by the label.
Did you ever see Young Money when y'all started? Did you think it would produce what it produced?
I wasn't sure.
And I want to know one more question. I want to know.
No, I
when
did know. You
When
know
did you
what?
realize? Like, you know, like it's dope because I love that because Tehran is my best friend. And it's that moment where you look at your best friend and you're like, oh, this nigga's different. Like, oh, we going to be okay.
Yeah.
When did you realize that for Wayne? Where you was like, oh, we good?
I mean, I knew he was different from when he rapped that rap about fast foods when we was freaking.
But you still
when
was saying we
when
ain't
he was
going nowhere.
11,
You still
12
saying
years
we
old.
ain't going
I
nowhere.
just didn't think it was gonna get us out the hood
Yeah.
and take us to where it took us. You know what I'm saying? But I knew he was different from that point on. You know, I knew his talent.
When did you know that we ain't got to go back to school?
We
We
Oh,
don't
shit.
got to go be doctors. When did you know we gonna be making music money for the rest of our
I
life?
think when I understood, when I finally figured out touring and I got out the Chitlin circuit and went to the hard ticket markets, and I saw that, you know, the crowd changed. The crowd,
Yeah.
I saw the 70%, 75% white folks in the building. I was like,
so if somebody doesn't know the difference between,
Okay.
I was gonna ask
can you break that down?
yeah, so
Wait, can you say the terms again? Just when
Hard ticket.
Chitlin circuit and hard tickets and touring. It's like touring terminology.
Chitlin?
Doing shows,
Chitlin
concerts.
circuit. That's what all black
Chitlin
back in the
circuits.
60s and 70s. That's what all the black artists had to tour
Because
is
they weren't
country,
allowed
'cause
in
they,
the-
they weren't allowed.
they
in the
weren't
main-
allowed in the white
main
so
venue.
it's
venues.
chitlin, like chitlin.
Like
Yeah,
chitlin.
like
Okay,
Chitlin circuit.
okay.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
But I'm
Yeah, so they could be like juke joints backstage, you know. So,
Yeah.
but it's like the club scenes, like playing clubs and things like that. And a lot of us get into, you know, a lot of artists.
Brown paper bag money.
I was just about to say, a lot of artists get into the chasing the bag and, you know, and getting the bag
Yes.
money. But as I learned, especially when I started meeting my partners along this journey, who I'm still with today, Sean G. we started figuring out touring. You know what I'm saying? G. Roberson, my partner, I met 3 years in. You know, he had Kanye, I had Wayne. We came, brought our companies together at that point, 3 years in. So I started learning a lot. And I had to realize that, you know, even though we was making, like, and I can compare. So it's like the normal nightclubs you go to just doing shows in a club or something like that, not at Roxy or Fox Theater or anything like that. So that's the difference between like the Chitlin Circuit and like real venues where you playing tickets. Where you gonna see white folks at for the people that's in there? Where they feel comfortable
like
to
real
go.
Stuff,
they not going. They might not go to Compound to see a show.
It's insured. It's insured.
Right.
It's a doorman. It's a business. It's a start time. It's an end time.
And those and hard tickets. We say that because they get really calculated and counted. And the analytics, people start paying attention, and promoters look at that to see if they're going to keep.
By the way, to back up what he's saying, there are artists right now who are huge that
still can't reach
tickets.
that level.
Yes.
Selling tickets is like the moment where it's like you can bring it, like you can tour for the rest of your life.
And it's strategy, and it's you could tour. And I had to learn that, and I had to have a hard conversation with Wayne, like because we making like 50,000 to 75,000. This is probably right after Go DJ's out. So it's Carter One. Carter One was the first album I put out under manager. That's when I started. So so Go DJ, all that's out, and we running, you know, and I was just like, you know, I learned. I was like, so Wayne, I was like, yeah, we making 50, 75 a night. I was like, we're gonna have to switch it in order for us to grow. You know, for me to help you grow to like this arena level star, we're going to have to switch this up and sell these what I didn't know. I was just call these hard tickets and go into venues. We gotta go to venues where the white people come see you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So literally what I told him, and I was like, but that's gonna take a sacrifice. So I was like, you know, it's gonna be, and what we did, the first thing we did was we went on we opened up for Chris Brown and Neo, and I think Franchise Boys was before us too. So he was like the second slot. I think it was like Dipset, Wayne, Franchise Boys, or Flip Neo, and then Chris Brown, up close and personal tour. It's like Chris' first big tour. But Wayne, mind you, he had 2 platinum albums out, 15 minutes.
Was Give Me That out? Give Me That was on the first album.
Yeah, Give Me That.
Yep.
Give Me That.
Yeah.
So they did that song together. Yeah. So he used to come back out and do that with Chris, you know. So, but it was 10 grand. 7,500 to 10 grand a night,
and you got to cover everything
from 50,000 to and we still had to cover everything.
You got to cover everything. That's the difference.
Yeah,
like you got to pay for the whole game.
Yeah,
like
tour
literally,
bus,
you have to pay the
hotels.
Tour bus, hotels.
So wait,
management.
10,000 has to cover.
Your 10,000 a night is your budget.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to ride in the minivan and that's how you want to be cheap and save money, that's cool. If you want to be comfortable, be on a tour bus.
Yes.
But the artist doesn't get paid until every bill item line is covered.
Yes.
And a lot of the times, I'm just saying, I know when we went on tour, I made more money than my group did.
Yes.
Because they had to pay all the expenses and management got paid gross.
Yes.
So you don't get paid net. So, you know, he gets net. So that's crazy.
Yeah, so, you know, we had to sacrifice and take that step backwards. You know, he trusted me. He trusted what I said. And it was like, all right, this is what we got to do to get there, you know.
That's amazing, by the way. You can't skip along that. Like for real, because you went from telling your artists we making 75 a night. We ain't got no responsibility, by the way. We just pulling up, making money, leaving, to now we gonna make 10,000 a night before cost.
Yep.
Artists, you know how hard that is. It's like, what, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Because if it don't go right, you're out. Like if it don't go right, it's like you can never say nothing again.
But why wouldn't the label cover the cost?
Why would they?
Because I'm out here. Y'all get all the money.
Sometimes they do to get.
No, I'm saying, but like
support,
at where he's at right now, they're not gonna offset his costs. It wasn't put like this.
Yeah.
If Wayne,
Go DJ and all of this.
You're missing it. It's not. You look at it wrong. It's not about what It's not about what he was worth in this world of brown paper bag money. It's what you're worth in this world of hard tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a difference. It's like you got to build your touring business. I can name acts right now that you've never heard of that are getting $100,000 a night because that's the way they have built a touring business. They ain't go because when they putting tours together, they trying to figure out, okay, we know our guy's gonna bring in this many seats. We're gonna call Tez because we know, and they don't know how many seats this guy gonna bring in. So it's like it's a risk.
Yep. And by the end of that tour, they ended up switching the spots. We ended up going right before Neo. Like French, I think it was Dipset that was after us. It was like, nah, we're not following Wayne no more. So they was like, you want to get this spot? Because he was that 15 minutes, we were just hitting them. We had
record after record after record.
Shit, he was killing it. And that's what he said. He was like, I'm gonna give them the hardest 15 minutes. They gonna wish they would booked me, put me on another bill. So he went with that attitude. Then he'll come out, give me that with Chris at the end, and Joel's I think was doing Run It. So it was that album, right? So they'll come back out at the end. So we was getting a big look because it wasn't that many people in them early slots, but we'll come back out and, you know, that audience started, loving them. And after that, I started getting different type of calls, different type of conversations. And what I also was doing, to go back to the first part of your question, in building his brand, was I was trying to figure out how to expand his brand outside of music. So
Skater Boy?
Like, no, not that far now. I'm just talking about just deals, endorsement deals or what have you. And it was such a challenge early on, because at this point, you know, the world didn't look at hip hop as what it is now, as being marketable. And especially on the corporate side, they didn't understand the magnitude of what hip hop was going to be. I saw that by looking at the audiences and understanding the audiences that was coming out every night. And then leaning back to my advertising class that I had at Jackson State, understanding how these corporate companies look at their consumer from a very young age and try to make them loyal buyers throughout the entire brand's history, right? So I started paying attention to all those things, and tell a story a lot. And I tell a story a lot, but, you know, I went to a couple of those rooms, and mind you, I'm young as fuck. I probably look way younger than what I was. I was probably 25, 26, if that.
And you also have the perception of being one of Wayne's posse.
Yes.
How
so I had that perception.
So he has to prove that he's not that.
So I'm looking young. So I'm going to these meetings, and they wasn't taking me serious. You know what I'm saying? They want to take it. Then I'm trying to sell a guy with tats in his face, grill, a fucking diamond grill, and rapping about what he rap about, right? So, you know, I was getting in some of the doors, but, you know, so two things end up happening. Well, the big thing ended up happening is, and the reason why I wear these glasses to this day, because I tell a story, I got 20/20 vision. I don't wear glasses, right? But so what I had to figure out was I had to nullify the room in order to give them a beat so they could hear what was coming out of my mouth.
Nullify the room.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I did was I put these glasses on. So that made them feel comfortable.
Wow.
To start hearing what was coming out of my mouth. So that's why I started, you know, when we the story behind these wisdom frames was, you know, this became my superpower. The opposite of Clark Kent. Yeah. When I put these glasses on, became my Superman superpower, and the story behind these glasses, these frames, right? But that nullified the room. And then when I closed the first deal, the golden ticket was, you know, I think it was Pepsi, old white CMOs, summertime. I was like, hey, you know, whatever the name was, do you have a granddaughter or a daughter that's a teenager? I was like, call them up on the phone and say that you're in a meeting about Lil Wayne. You know, smart. Call them on the phone. Oh my God, granddad, my granddad. We had a deal offer within 24 hours.
Smart.
So that's how I first broke the door of getting Wayne into the endorsement side. And all he had to do was show up and execute, which he did. Yeah. And it started rolling from there.
So now y'all rolling.
Building brands.
So now you establish the brand, y'all rolling. Let's start signing artists? Because it felt like y'all had like 20 artists at the same time.
Yeah, so Currency left after.
Where y'all based out of?
At that point.
This after Hurricane Katrina.
After Katrina, we moved. He went to Houston because he went to school at University of Houston for a year. And then we moved to Miami right before Hurricane Katrina, so 2005. So we've been in Miami. And all that time, I moved to Atlanta. He moved to Miami. Well, I was kind of both places, but
So you was here.
I was here.
So you're responsible for the Nicki Minaj Deb situation.
No, that was.
I'm really trying to figure out.
I'm not. She was signed to us, but I wasn't manager at the time. We started managing Nicki probably at the end of her first album. Because I think we first put out Super Bass. So. With the Nicki management. I was around with the Deb, and before that, Diddy was managing her. So she was going Fendi first, and then I think it was Diddy, and then it was Deb.
I didn't know about Diddy. So y'all cannot take credit for Nicki.
I
That's
never
it.
tried.
That's all I'm saying.
I never did.
Who?
Atlanta.
No, but Atlanta broke her. Like that DJ Scream
I'm gonna leave
mixtape.
it alone.
You heard it from the man.
No.
Hey, you called for it. You said it.
What?
Stick
So
with it
who
now. Hey,
did?
he said it now. Tez, I wasn't even
Playtime
going
is
there.
over. Playtime is over.
I
Who did
shout out
Playtime
to
is over?
Deb. Shout out to Gucci. Like they really.
So who did Playtime is over?
No, we didn't put that out. That was all her with those
So
relationships.
to me,
But-
she broke
But
before
let me
that.
ask you. So
then.
no. So what I'm asking
it's
is
not
that
Atlanta.
hold on.
Sorry.
I want to make sure I get the timeline right because I forgot about the Nicki Deb Gucci thing. I didn't know that. So you guys start Young Money. Wayne is in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You live in Atlanta, and y'all saying we got currency left, and then what happens after that?
We was signing. We working on Carter 3, right? We in that mode. But we still want to build a label. So, we still wanted to build. Mac was still around, but that's when Jazz Prince came up to me. No, Nicki was first. Who was first? Let me think. Who was first? Who was first? Nicki or Drake? Or Tiger? Because they all came around the same year. It all came around the same year, but it was different story. I can't remember what came first. The Nicki situation came because Wayne didn't want them come up DVDs for Fendi in New York. Remember DVDs they used to hand out?
Hand
to hand. So French was doing it back then too, right? So
Coke Boys.
So he was doing. So he did one of them DVDs, and Fendi, who was doing the DVD, he put Nicki right behind Wayne interview. So when we got to New York, put our tour bus, Fendi was like, yo, I got this. You know what I'm saying? So he strategically put Nicki's rap freestyle right in behind Wayne's interview. Mind you, we go fast forward through all that shit to Wayne's interview.
Yeah.
And Nicki pop on. And Wayne was like, yo, who the fuck is that? Like, yo, who this DVD for? Like, who do this? He's like, man, call him.
He didn't even care. He just probably like, I'm on it. Let me see what I did.
Her.
Exactly.
Find her. So that's how Nicki came.
So yeah, find Nicki. And
find
is
Nicki.
Nicki with anybody or she just with Fendi?
She just with Fendi. One with anybody. And I hear Fendi and he was like, yeah, he flew out.
So you got Nicki. How does Tiger come?
Tiger come. We was doing the MTV Awards or something like. Tiger was hanging around with Gym Class Heroes.
Or I say because he had the record, the coconut record, and
he was
one of the Gym Class Heroes was his cousin.
Yeah, Travi. Yes,
Travi.
So Travi was introducing it to us, and him and Wayne hit it off, and we was just like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying. Tiger, Wayne took a liking to him. It was like, yeah, I want to fuck with him, and that's how he came around. And Drake was Jazz.
So Jazz calls you and says what?
Jazz called me and said, yo, I found this kid on MySpace. Taz, you gotta hear him.
I would love to see Drake's old MySpace
like,
page.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it was out here, man. And I remember just first hearing, first thing I thought of, I was like, yo, I could understand every fucking syllable coming out of his mouth.
Every word.
I was like, I've never heard somebody.
He had a song called
this.
"Replacement Girl," and he was rapping so clear, like
It was like clear. I had never heard that.
Yeah.
So it was that same tape. It
Yeah.
was that comeback season mixtape. And I was like, yo, I never heard nothing so crisp and clean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yo. I was like, yeah, we gotta fly him out.
Yeah.
So we fly him out. And when I saw him, I was like, oh shit, nigga, you light skinned too? Man? I was like, I was like, damn, you Canadian, cause Drake, Jazz told me he's Canadian. I was like, you Canadian and you light skinned and you rap like this? I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah.
So y'all signed.
What kind of artist development did you do for Drake?
Or for all of them?
For that time, the Drake play was, he was here. We was in Atlanta. We was in Atlanta. All this shit,
like
had
Hot Beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We was at Hot Beats. So the first thing we did was, what can we do to to catapult Drake on that level?
So y'all knew Drake was, in your mind, you knew Drake was the one. It was like, okay.
I knew he was the one. I knew it from the jump. I didn't know it at that point.
Yes.
I didn't know it at that point. I knew it a little bit down the line. I'll tell that story. I knew a little bit down the line, but I knew that he could rap really well. So the first thing we did was let's put him on a song called Ransom, where he's just rapping right now. Wayne is the hottest right now. We on fire going into quarter 3, right? And we was like, if we gonna put them right next to him and just have them just bars.
Yeah.
And that shit worked. Then we put like Money to Blow, Forever. Like we put out. Then we just dropped a couple more, 3 or 4 more songs.
Yeah.
And he just the buzz just kind of started happening. You know what I'm saying? Nicki was here. And the Nicki wave and buzz came literally off of Deb and what they did for her in the streets of Atlanta. That's how she started. That's how she started. I'm not gonna take credit.
I'm trying to be nice over here, and you keep
I ain't
making
said
these
nothing.
faces at
You
me,
the
and
one
I'm gonna come
started
over
it.
here. And
All I'm saying, this we getting it from the man's mouth.
That's what that mixtape that put her on the road. The Itty Bitty Piggy and all
I
that.
know her
like,
from Playtime
that wasn't
Is
me.
Over,
That was
so
that wasn't us.
That's
that
not
was
how I got into
that was some management
So
team.
she on
some
Young Money, but her management team is moving
Yeah, her
around.
management
You
team.
managing all of them?
Y'all appreciate that.
I wasn't
by the way.
managing. I wasn't managing any of them at that time. But Drake came to me. I'm only managing Wayne. Drake was the second person to come to me and ask me to make him a superstar. So I was originally recruiting Drake just for Young Money
So you the
at
star
the label.
maker. That's
So
what you are.
just as I'm the executive. I'm running the label, right? So when Drake came to me, because I never, like I said, I never had any intentions of managing anyone else. I only came in this shit to help my friend, right?
Yep.
So there was nothing in my mind said I wanted to be a manager and manage a lot of clients. Drake, just the second person to come to me, was like, yo, Taz, you know what I'm saying? And this time we had Kanye. We had got Kanye. Well, I met my partner, G. Robinson.
Shout out to G. Robinson, Gene,
Yep.
Al, all
Yeah,
those guys.
yeah. So that was early 2007. Drake came like a little bit later in 2007. So he knew we had on the management roster, it was Wayne and Kanye at this time.
He went in.
Yes. So he was like, that's the two people I want to be like. He was like, I would love for you to manage me, Taz. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I see how you roll with Wayne and stuff.
Were you worried about how Wayne would feel, or Wayne was cool with it?
I definitely was worried about it. I asked him. I wasn't gonna do it without asking and getting his blessing. So, because I didn't, like I said, it took me by surprise. I was like, you want me to manage you?
Yeah.
I was like, I just started. Really, I'm really just literally. I'm only 3 years in. You know what I'm saying? So, I was only 3 years in. So I was just like, man, all right. I was like, let me check with Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne was like, well, shit, man. You know, if he gonna be over here, you gonna get him over
Rather
here.
him be with you anyway.
Then you might as well be over that too to make sure it's successful for all of us. I was like, bet.
What's the most difficult thing about managing Lil Wayne, and then the most difficult thing about managing Drake?
I think it was a hard lesson, right? It's probably the reason why my management. It was the reason why my management situation ended with Drake at the end of our first initial term. It definitely was the reason. But I had to learn because I didn't know. Like, I was only 3 years in, right? And mind you, Wayne's style was totally different from Drake's style. Like, Wayne was the one. Wayne trusts me with everything. Like, Wayne just go make it happen, tell me what we doing. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a lot of communication. Wayne only wanted to know what I got to do. Was it? He put that much trust in me. Like, he saw something.
Sure.
He saw something in me I didn't even know I had it myself at the time, right?
Sure.
So that's the type of. So I led with that same. That's the only thing I knew. So I led with that same style of managing with Drake, and not understanding Drake was the one who wanted details, information, and wanted to be. So I used to pull up, mind you, everything worked. You know what I'm saying? Made him a superstar, and you know, and really, really fast, and got him plenty of opportunities. But I didn't know. I left the door open for other people to come in later on.
Educate
Once I
him.
made him a superstar, I left interpretation for people to come in thinking that, oh, you did this you did this on your own because you was Drake, because he didn't have the information and knowing what was going on to make him all the moves that was going on behind the scenes to take him to that level, right? So it allowed a Judas to come in and you know, once he was already a star at this point, you know what I'm saying? 2 platinum albums allowed a person to come in and try to sway him to thinking different, you know. So I learned that the hard way, because that ended our management relationship, you know. So I had to learn, like, yo, you know, these people were different, and we finally, you know, we super tight now. Like, our friendship is super close because it was real and authentic. But we went like probably 9 months or a year with a rough period where, you know, we went a whole rough period for about a year till we had to man up and look. You know what I'm saying? He understood at the end of the day all the things. He finally came to a sense of all the things I did do for him, and you know, we had to talk, and I had to own up to, I should have known, you know, I wish I would have asked you, have known to, you know, what you really needed. You know what I'm saying? If you needed community, it was no problem for me. It's not like I was hiding something to do anything.
Doing what you knew how to do.
I just was doing what I knew how to do. Like, if you want to be on these calls, or if you want to know step by step, you know, Wayne is one, like, hit me when it's done and let me know where to go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Sure.
And so I learned a real learning lesson from that. That the lesson I took was each of these artists are different.
Yes.
And you got to understand, you know, what it takes to make them move and the manager style you have to proceed.
Is it harder to manage a female superstar?
Absolutely.
Ah.
Absolutely.
What's the difference?
I mean, female.
Okay.
Huh? I mean, females just come with extra. Even when we started managing Nicki, right? When she left that, she came under us some management, you know, because it was right in house. And she asked us to manage her. It was just like, you know, it was the little things we weren't thinking about. We weren't thinking about glam. We weren't thinking about, well, I can't fly in the same day because I might be bloated when I land. I can't fly in for a photo shoot the same day because I might be bloated when I land. You know what I'm saying?
Shit you got to think about.
Stuff I didn't know. I was like,
Right.
what?
Wasn't even
Why
on the
you
radar.
cancel it? We canceled the shoot because of, but it's something that we had to learn on the fly. You know what I'm saying? We had to learn on the fly by dealing with a like that whole thing, glam and don't kill me women, but that emotional thing is real. You know what I'm saying? Don't get a man and pillow talk coming to situations. So it's
Makes
a lot
it even
of
harder.
You know, that's male managers and the other guys coming in that might not be the right type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like
in the head.
yeah, you got to think about it's a very real thing. But most of it was just about, you know, the preparation that women need, you know, to get themselves together to be, you know, to be on point. So we had to learn. We had to figure that out, that learning curve out to understand how to manage Nicki.
So everything you had going on, if you could do anything differently, what would you do? Like,
I don't think I'll do everything differently. I'm a firm believer that you know, all those mistakes, even the detrimental, the one, you know, that it could have been financially maybe, you know what I'm saying, or even relationships at the time. I think everything happened for a reason because I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the business and the game, and it you know, it helped me evolve, become a better version of an executive moving on, you know. So I took all those things.
so what does it look like today for you? Like, are you still excited about management?
No.
I'm saying because I'm not.
Nah.
Like, so as my manager was like
Nah,
disrespectful,
man.
low key, like.
I mean, just because how management is set up, you know, management, you know, especially me as a manager, right, who was heavily involved in A&R and picking records and putting together records. Secrets, like all that shit for Wayne, like I did, you know, Wayne just dropped 100 songs on me and like pick the album. You know what I'm saying? So I, you know, or you know, for us, you know, especially me and my team, you know, we have a bunch of different skill sets, how we built our management company, you know, that literally is a one-stop shop for artists. So on the management side, if you just get in a commission, and these artists literally could just say, tomorrow I'm not feeling well, and you're gone. And we put in all this, like it's certified babysit. It's 24/7. Like you have to sacrifice yourself in order for someone else's life. And if you're doing that and you have no ownership, and these labels are making, you know, they're reaping the benefits forever from the especially for us. Like literally, Blueprint Group was the label for Young Money. The Thought Tank, you know what I'm saying, Baby and Slim were great partners because they gave us all the money that we needed to support these ideas I had. But all they had to do was literally cut the check, you know what I'm saying, and back us up with Universal and the infrastructure. Because I was coming there like, baby, we're going to put this out, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And this is because our management team was literally the Thought Tank of building out these rollout plans, picking singles, you know what I'm saying, marketing plans, like all that. We was just going to Universal for support to amplify it, you know what I'm saying, and all the things that they added on top of it. We definitely was steering the ship for Young Money, as in all the acts on Young Money. But we had no ownership in the asset, you know. So that's the problem with management that I have. You know, you could put all this time and energy into an artist and a client, and you know, you learn that you can have, you know, as they grow, there's some type people think white is better. Like it's a whole lot of stuff that happen in this business, you know, and then, you know, they think they may need a bigger manager just because they get into a certain level, and they'll leave you high and dry. They'll leave you high and dry. You have nothing to show for it.
Yep.
You have nothing to show for it, especially if you invested in one person, then you might just be back. You know what I'm saying? You might be back working at McDonald's or something like that, you know?
Wait, so when did things kind of get weird, or like when did y'all notice something wasn't right with Baby and Lil Wayne? Like,
which time? I came in, it was like that.
let's do it the first time. Like when
I mean,
when things
that's
first
why
got
Wayne
weird.
first called me. I mean, that's why Wayne first called me.
Really?
Because
He
he
needed
needed
somebody
somebody
to have
to
his business.
see.
Yes, he needed somebody.
need
He didn't
somebody
have a
you could
lawyer.
trust.
He didn't have a business manager. He had never really got paid anything.
What do you mean never got paid?
Never got
Like,
paid. He got paid like with cars and goddamn a few dollars after the tour and
at what point when you say he never got paid anything, where were you at when he wasn't like?
What was I? This
Like
is when I
not
still was
you.
in
I
college.
mean, where was he at in his career? Like
He was early. It still was
It's
early,
early.
but it's still two
Okay.
platinum albums out.
Oh,
He
so
got,
no, this is 2 platinum albums,
had
and
2
I'm not
platinum
getting
But he
paid.
had 2 platinum albums out before he was
That's what
17.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
Before he was 18.
he had
He
2 platinum albums out. So
With
we
no
had to.
money.
So we had to.
Like money.
I literally was brought in to get him a lawyer, get him a business manager. So I had to figure all that out without knowing nothing about the business, and then literally was like look for other labels. That's when we met with Jay-Z at Def Jam,
No.
and they didn't.
Oh, then you probably public enemy number one.
History would have been
yes.
crazy if
No, it's public. All this is public
I mean,
record.
but we
too.
knew that though.
Yeah.
But
And when they saw that paperwork, Cash Money saw that paperwork. That's when everybody was like,
he was like, "Hold up."
"Oh, hold up." They
so
serious.
what paperwork?
The
The
Jeff,
The
we
J-
had a contract. We
Oh,
about
they
to
was out of
sign
there.
with
With
Def
Def
Jam.
Jam.
With Jay.
Oh.
When
They
Jay
was
was
out
over
of
Def
there.
Jam, we about to sign.
Ooh.
Wayne
I
rapped
heard
about
that,
it.
but I didn't
Wayne
know.
rapped about it.
I didn't even know that it was that deep. I didn't know
Wayne
it was a
rapped
contract.
the paperwork was there. That was my first time drinking. We was drinking Belvedere vodka. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" Jay-Z. I mean, Jay-Z shit.
Turn it up.
Man, like, yeah. So
History would
So
have been
y'all about to
so
sign,
different.
and then
we about to sign.
y'all want to give them the courtesy of like,
No, we was about to sign.
He's a courtesy.
Fucking Def Jam is underneath the Universal
They all
umbrella.
Universal.
So it came.
Oh,
they,
made
they,
the block hot.
So they saw it.
They was
was
just
like,
handing the money to somebody else.
yeah. So they was handling. Yeah. Doug Morris.
Yeah.
It was there. So
Yeah.
when they when it was like,
He was like, "Skirt."
but we had to wait because he signed that contract when he was underneath 18. So we had a loophole
Oh.
to redo the whole deal,
Sugar
restructure
snaps.
the whole deal.
And y'all didn't get a
So we had a great deal. And
It worked.
And we were rolling up. We was rolling for a lot of years until the last time.
Until the last.
So the last time was the big time where y'all where they
5
weren't
years.
speaking.
Yes.
And it's funny because I'm gonna tell you a story. So I do a deal with Cash Money, and I know that they're not working together. I have a group signed to Cash Money, and you literally go to the studio.
They still Wayne right there.
Wayne is
They
right
still
there,
right there.
and they're right there. Like,
Still right there.
With the
But not-
beef?
like in
Yes.
the middle of it, Wayne is in because Wayne had a room at the studio.
Hit Factory.
Criteria. Wayne had a room, and when you parked Wayne's room, you could still see through the glass, so you would know like, oh, Wayne's in there. I mean, obviously he had like a skateboard set up right there, so you would just when you come, they would be like, you can't park there. Wayne's coming, so he's gonna. I'm like, Wayne's coming. But baby we in here with babies like they in here every day to say that was the craziest part.
Yeah, the whole time it was in at the same time. I mean, it wasn't never no serious beef,
Right.
but it definitely was a.
Family beef.
It was and it definitely was a standoff.
Did they feel a way about you? Like, were you in the middle of it? Because you're the guy that got to handle business,
Yeah, I
and
have
I've
to
known
be.
you since you was a little boy.
I have to
so
be
you
in the
kind of
middle.
got to man up
Piece of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
and show them that you're a man, but
Yeah.
it's still like
I had to do that very early. You know what I'm saying? I had to do that very early on to understand that, and I think that they probably didn't know about it. Yeah, I was the little homie. The little homie that went to college. That's what they call me.
Yeah.
The homie. Oh, that's the little homie went to college. I was the little homie. I was the one that
Yeah.
went to college,
Yeah.
right? So
and baby's a man of not a lot of words.
yes, little homie went to college.
Yeah,
but
baby, he ain't gonna do too much.
I think
talking.
they started respecting me. Once I think that first meeting when I
that
met.
Def Jam deal.
Nah,
That definitely put some fire on some
I think they
asses.
respected me. I remember it was this one meeting around Carter 3. Before Carter 3, I went off on Mel Winter. I didn't know who the hell he was.
Yeah.
Second in command.
Yeah.
The whole.
That's Doug right here, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I went off on him. I'm like, he was like, yo, I was like, you don't know Wayne. What you talking about? You old, you about 50 years
Yeah,
old.
exactly.
So they'll try to calm me down. I'm not calming down. This man not about to tell me because it was about doing features. But the features got us hot.
Yeah.
And got us there. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand how we built up this buzz in order to sell that week,
Yes.
that first week we had at Carter 3. Like, it was all strategic. Them mixtapes and them features was all strategically done. And this man trying to tell me don't put out nothing. I was like, bro, you don't know Wayne. You don't know Wayne. And he wouldn't do this. And I was like, all due respect, I don't even know who you are.
Mel
old
was a man of not that many words. He
And
would
we
just sit like Doug's little man.
And we was at it, and I think Slim and they was like, man, this man gonna really stand up for it,
I love
And then the money, and then we started, they ain't had to do much at this point. I took a lot off their show, so they had me in there. And once success started happening, I think that with Carter 3.
I got a question for you. I
got
just got to ask you this. How does it feel to have an album that you are overseeing sell 1 million first week?
It was amazing, man. I was like,
you ain't walk in the room like Al Pacino, like, you know who did
I
this?
did.
I did.
No, I ain't do that.
Like,
I ain't do that. I ain't do that. I never taken the credit for that. I definitely, I was happy for Wayne because, because we had to remake that whole album like in 6 months because the first one leaked. Fucking Empire, whatever the big fat white dude is from Boston, I still probably don't like to this day because
Empire mixtapes.
Yes,
Big Matt.
Yes,
Big Matt. He live here. He from here.
Yes, last time I saw him was like a Roman. I probably wanted to goddamn smack him then.
Oh wow!
Try to shake my hand. I was like, no, shake my hand. And you leaked the whole album that we put 2-3 years of work into.
How you know it was him? No,
I ended up figuring it out.
Oh.
He started talking too much because we couldn't figure it out.
Snitching on himself.
But no, I knew it was him. No. The tag. It came out on Empire. No, it was the Empire tag. I knew I didn't know who he was. I had no idea who Empire was.
Big Matt.
And how the hell he would get this.
He put his drop over it.
No. You're looking at it from today's lens. You have to understand this is piracy era.
Yes.
This is.
I don't even know what piracy is.
Meaning this is your music is up on sites, just regular sites. You don't know who's
like
connected
LimeWire
to. LimeWire,
Yeah.
but you can download it like Napster, like just like so. You want the album, you click a link, download the album, is yours.
Yep.
So you would see the Lil Wayne thing, but you didn't know who uploaded it.
No, I
you
knew
knew it was Empire.
I knew it was Empire. I didn't know who Empire was.
You didn't know Empire was.
I couldn't figure.
Yeah.
I did not know who Empire
Yeah,
was,
put
man.
the
It wasn't
face.
like social media was out or anything like that. I did not know who the hell Empire was. So
Big
I
Matt.
put faith. Yeah. And so we had to make that. So it was a lot of stress because we put out. Was it the first time we put out Sorry for the Wait? No, I think I pushed another album back for that. But we put a mixtape out before that. We put something out to buy some time. It took like 9 months to create that album over, so we went in heavy to go grab all those songs. You know what I'm saying? But it was a blessing in disguise. Because shit, it did what it did. The fans, our philosophy at that point was, in that time when, piracy and CDs was going out of style and the digital era was trying to make its way, and we saw that it was inevitable that fans was going to be consuming music and be grabbing it from different types of ways. So we was like, maybe if we just keep giving them music, we give them a lot. And if we give them a lot, when we come put something out, they will reward.
That's how I felt, by the way.
They will be willing to pay their $10 because they feel like
so much.
they've gotten so much from you.
In good stuff, though.
But that's how I felt, though. That's really how I felt. It felt like he did so much work, and his fans came out and was like, "We're gonna pay you back by support."
That was a strategy. So
that's what it felt like too.
That was the whole strategy run. I had to tell Mel and went to off about that. Yeah, man. That was the whole strategy how to card 3. So it was great to see. That's just, that happening at that time when it was like I said, CDs was going out. So it was like unheard of to sell that many records. Yeah.
So if there's a young kid out there that wants you to manage him, what are the odds?
Like absolutely not. Don't
no, look. This is what I say. This is how I look at it. I'm taking titles off of these relationships now, right? So moving forward, if I work with an artist, it has to be a partnership. Like we have to be equally yoked. I come in, I do my part. If I'm bringing in, my relationships, all the things that I bring in as an executive, and you bring in your creativity and talent, we're looking at it as a business deal like that. So we're owning this company together.
Yes. That's
distributing this music, that's creating this merch or whatever we do, so that I know my time vested into you. I have something. If Lord forbid anything goes wrong, I have something to know my sweat equity that I put into this partnership.
Pay me back.
It's gonna pay me back. So that's the way I look at. I'm looking at partnerships with artists from now on. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that I'm just gonna get in a traditional
manager
commission type. I mean, unless it's like I really love it and it's crazy. If I see it's
really
moving,
earning, it's paying you day one.
Earning, paying for day one. I can see it's gonna be worth it like immediately. other than that, it's going to be like that's how I'm looking at these situations. We're creating we're creating a company together.
So,
Right, I like
so
that.
basically interpretation. So if there's a young Tez watching this that's like, I want to do this. We heard what you did. What would you tell somebody young that wants to be a manager, have an artist that they think is talented? What would be the first piece of advice you would give them? Because you already have a mentorship program, so you do this every day.
I mean, if they come up to me and say they have an artist, right? I would tell them, and they want to be a manager. I would tell them that's a couple different core traits that I think about when being a manager that you might have to have, right? On the flip side, from them personally, I'd be like, you got to be a hustler. You got to be, not afraid to speak and be extroverted in a way to, especially at the right time, to look and seek opportunities. You got to be a savant for knowledge because this business is forever changing and evolving, and you have to stay ahead of it. You have to be knowing what the trends and what's going on for the sake of your client, probably those three things. And then on the flip side, as far as the artists they want to manage, I would always ask them, what about them? And this is sort of my philosophy. What about them is going to separate them from the pack? We got 100,000 songs being uploaded on these DSPs a day. A lot of people could put together words and be talented, especially they want to be international stars. You got people that don't even speak English. So, words is not even the first thing that kind of brings me into music as we create hit songs and tell our artists how to create the DNA for hit songs. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, the person that you're managing, what is unique about them? Or is there something that could be brought out to them as their brand to make them unique that's going to separate them from the fat of all these other people trying to do the same thing?
Oh, that goes right into my question that I wanted to ask. So Lil Wayne, were you scared to so when he wants to do Truck Fit, he wants to start going into his skater era and stuff like that. We really didn't, I don't know, maybe I wasn't into the skating thing, but we didn't have a black hip hop artist that was going like the skater boy way. When, as a branding person, because you said branding was one of the things you thought of, did you think that was going to be a successful lane for him to be in? Did you guys kind of try to say, what are you doing? Like, how did that conversation even go?
Well, my job was to, when I saw that he really was going to keep doing it, and he started loving it, I was like, now I got to figure out how to make it make sense.
Right.
So that's when I had him on ESPN X Games. I had to start playing the pieces to create the brand and narrative around it. We could create a Rebirth rock album. We could goddamn put out Truck Fit, which is inspired by, the skate culture. So I started positioning him places, doing partnerships with Zoomies, you know what I'm saying? All the things, created a shoe with Supra, So I started doing things once I knew he was serious about it.
Was the skate community open, with open arms?
At first, they wasn't, because what I learned about the skate community is, they had to see that he really was living it and wasn't trying to pimp the culture.
Yeah.
And when they saw that he was serious about he falling and busting his ass just like them, and he's going to these skate parks all night with him, they respected him and they embraced him, which made it easier for us, to do. We had a video game. So once I knew it was serious, my job was to say, I got to build a brand around this to make sure we capitalize off it, because you're going to be doing this anyway. I got to make all this make sense, whether it's from the music and everything that we doing on the tentacles outside of it. So after a while, when I saw it was serious, that's when I built all that other stuff around it.
Smart. Okay, before we start playing games and stuff, I want to ask.
I'm going to play with you.
Yeah, it's good. So how do you protect artists from themselves? So artists, they have their own lives and stuff and habits that they like to do and recreational things. How do you protect artists from themselves?
Man, oh boy, that's a good question. I'm trying to see how I can explain the how.
Well, what does your process look like when you protect them?
My process is,
Or you can give us a good example of how you protected somebody one day.
my process is understanding what those things are and understanding the person, and don't put them in compromising and conflicted situations where they will have a chance to hurt themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's in some cases, you know what I'm saying, and when we managed in Ye, it was the right decision to say, hey, no more press. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
when he was underneath our umbrella, he been going and coming over all these years, but you know, there's no more press, or you know, even with Wayne, you know, certain situations, I'm not gonna put him in a fashion, you know, go after a one of those fashion magazines, because I know he's not going to be comfortable with the type of stylist they're going to have there and the clothes they're going to, because some of those fashion will make you wear their style and their clothes. So I know I can't go after that type of deal for him, because I know that's not going to be comfortable for him. I'm going to go off on this camera like, Ted, what you fucking got me in front of wearing this type of shit, whatever. Even though he has wearing some crazy shit, but I dealt with that. I dealt with the experience. I learned from it. I've made mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. And it took me learning those mistakes to understand what not to do. You know, I know not to say when I had a bad experience when Wayne talked about I want to get into acting. Sometimes they want to get into things, and when they do it, they understand it's a whole different world. And he lasted 2 days. The third day, he like, yeah, playoff song. I'm not coming off my bus after this game.
What? On a movie set?
On a movie set. Mind you, this is what's that movie?
I'm crying.
Shit, was Forrest Whitaker. Tim Story directed it. Hurricane season. Yeah. So he lasted 3 days. And I'm like, you know, and I told, listen, and I'm getting hell. You know, I'm learning about, you know, movies and the time and like how different that is, and with that punctuality and how much, you know, that costs, you know, and how important that is on this set. And I was just like, you know, I told him never again. I was like, I don't care if you ask me, I'm not ever booking this again. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Offers come, nope. Oh, we would love Wayne to do this movie one day. Nope. I know how he is. He's not gonna he's not gonna get 8 hours doing the same thing, repetitive, redundant, over and over again, because this is how movies shoot. So sometimes once you learn, you know, you gotta, you know, you know what to do and what not to do based off of understanding who they are.
That goes back to what you said in the beginning, studying your artist, knowing what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with, customizing it to them, not trying to copy paste.
I think that's the most key things about great managers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know how to make your artist move. And
you got to know them.
Yeah, you have to know them to know what to do to get them up, to get them going. Know, you know, and when to be there, when to be counselor, you know, when, you know, and be ready for those fires that may be coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, because sure enough, we've had a lot of them over the damn years.
You said you made a lot of mistakes. What's the biggest mistake you think you made?
I think the biggest mistake was, well, the biggest learning lesson that I learned way later on was, because I jumped into this with a tunnel vision of just protecting my friend and being a manager. You know, I wasn't paying attention to the business side of things and understand what that looked like, how money was being made and assets were being created in the music business. So I was a great manager and I was making people a lot of money. It's a reason why we got to the point. If I was understanding, you know, the revenue that Young Money was making and understood what that was.
Were you a partner in Young Money?
Huh?
Were you a partner in Young Money?
I wasn't a partner in Young Money.
So you was really helping your man, working for him.
Yes. So, you know, it took me years and years down the line going through that lawsuit to be a real rude awakening of really like smacking my face. Tez, what have you been like? We didn't make $1 off of Young Money.
I was about to say,
dime, nothing.
Young Money's catalog is their catalog. If they sold it today, it's probably worth $2.5 billion. If they sold it today, it's probably worth about two.
And I didn't.
So you built $1 billion asset.
And
I mean, laugh. I'm sorry. I'm just looking like.
No, it's funny. It's funny.
Nah,
but I was so busy being the manager. We were so busy, and then we had these fucking superstars, right? We Kanye, Wayne, Drake, Nicki. This all that's G-Eazy. All was at the same time. So we in their business, their brands in their own. So all of them, I'm talking about my team. We're so tunnel vision on doing them great and putting ourselves behind them and making sure they're great. I wasn't paying attention to the asset side of the Young Money business that I should have been looking at way before we got into a situation where I had to fight for 5 years to get all that money that was owed back that we had never saw.
What's the example of an asset from the Young Money? Like you said, you were on.
So Drake and Nicki was signed. They're like They're
The
their
artists.
assets.
Every Drake,
So all of Drake's songs.
and now that
Albums.
Drake is off Cash Money now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but everything that was on Cash Money, they own.
Yes.
That's why I said they can sell those assets. Like
Yeah.
he can't the way Tez made his money, it was transactional.
Yeah.
I make you $1 million, you cut me my percentage.
Right.
Cash Money, they have the value side.
Right.
So, you guys are making the cash, but we have the asset that's coming in.
Yeah.
So if we want to cash
And
out,
own it.
he can sell his contract,
Right.
but the artist got to be okay with it. The asset can be sold to Universal or whoever.
Right. And Young Money, Cash Money is 50-50 partners. So I wasn't looking at that side of it. And there was a ton of money coming in, and I wasn't looking at the label side of things and paying attention to it. If I would have been doing that earlier, I don't know if I would have avoided that big, long lawsuit, but
What made you go luck?
You talking about the lawsuit where Cash Money got sued by Wayne.
yes.
So you guys were suing for Young Money also.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was just for Wayne.
No. We had the Young Money part was the biggest part. That's the part that we never saw a dollar on. So that was the biggest part.
What was the red flag? Where did y'all start saying, wait, hold on, we missing something here?
I mean, they had to confess. They had to come to me and tell me they didn't have any more money
I would have loved to
to pay
To pay.
Wayne his advance, and that's when I figured out.
Okay,
something
so
was-
can I tell you how this happens?
Yes, please, somebody.
I have my theory how it happens. Like Go ahead,
My
Ray.
theory, this
Y'all gotta explain this to
this is
me.
what because I worked
Where the
I
money's
work
going, the
I
money's
work for
going.
major label. Oh, here's the thing, you gotta understand something. Most, I guarantee you, and Tez could vouch for me, or he don't have to, but most artists, you name the most successful artists, they don't get. It's rare to see a royalty check in this business.
Correct.
Now, people think it's you getting fucked because you don't see a royalty check. No, that's not what it is. They're cutting you in advance. So let's say if Baby is like, he gets a $60 million advance from Universal, they got to recoup that. He got the money now, so they got to recoup that. So they might be ready. It might be just timing off. Like, yo, we ready to drop an album, and we need $20 million today. And it's like,
The money haven't came in yet.
we ain't got that right now.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Because we done took an advance out, so we kind of need y'all to drop that album so we
Right.
can go get another
Yes,
advance,
Right. So
and then we'll cut you a check.
and I think that that's my theory what happened, because I don't think they expected they didn't expect Drake and Nicki
Right.
and how large their advances became, how much their costs
And
came.
then not only
at
that,
the
they have
same
not only
time.
that.
And
Here's
they're all
another
dropping.
thing. Everything was under their umbrella, right?
Yeah.
So he was an insider that became an outsider.
Yeah.
So Tez is that's Lil Wayne, little homie from college, right? Now Tez is his own businessman. So now Tez is like, so it's kind of like you run your house the way you run your house, and now Drake has his team, and they like, where our money?
Right.
And then Nicki team is like, where our money? And everybody like, where our money? And they're like, hold on.
Yes,
We
we got
took-
his advance.
we got this
We made
advance.
when bought some stuff, because usually the money might have been came back before the next album came out, that I could just
And
I
that's
could take care of
another
it. So
reason
I
why a
think-
lot of people didn't get paid. Producers didn't get paid from Cash Money at time
Right.
because they was taking advances out. So like when artists are getting these big advances, like I would challenge an artist to just sit back and say, I don't want an advance. I just want my royalties that's owed to me. It might change their whole deal, but hey, you walk in a building, they about to give you $50 million. You don't realize that all they did was double that back on their fees, everything else. So they keep you in the hole. That's the game.
Yeah, that is. And I said, I think that's what happened. I don't think that they
Yeah.
expected
fucking
the
people.
success of Drake and Nicki and Wayne at the same time, year by year. They was all dropping consistently, and they had to keep, and the money probably wasn't coming up fast enough, recouping fast enough, so they could keep funneling these situations. So that sort of that was my theory of why it happened. But
By the way,
before then, they were great partners. You know what I'm saying? Any idea I had, anything we wanted to do, any video wanted to get made, it was done.
and it's something to factor in. When you're winning, the bank is always open.
Yeah.
And they were winning. So why is the bank not open? Well, the bank is like, well, your man just walked in here and just got a $100 million check.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to take care of that. So that becomes problematic. So
Right. And I think there's another piece of this. Cash Money was also the only company who had what they call a traditional P&D deal. So they owned 100% of their company. And Universal didn't own that asset. They was only making a distribution fee. So when they got stuck in the hole,
how do you get out the hole?
They could have came in and be like, because knowing the money's gonna come in.
Or they could have sat y'all down and said, "Hey, look, here's what we're gonna do," but they didn't.
They probably was like, "You gotta give me a piece of this."
Yeah, that's how they take
and
your shit from you.
Then I'll bail you out. You know what I'm saying?
That's how they take your shit from you. That's how people use their label because it's a cash flow problem.
Yes.
Got it. All right.
Yes.
Before we go into the games, I got one more thing. How do you separate personal from business? Like, how do you not take shit personal?
I had to learn that the hard way. I have no emotion, and when it comes to that artist shit, like real business shit, like, and then I realized what's most important in life, man. Like, you know, I can't let this job and career. It's way more things that's more important to me. You know, I know God blessed me with this situation. I feel like it's definitely was my purpose to be doing what I'm doing. You know, but I also understand that, you know, I won't ever let. You know, that's why I always kind of been the same. I never let these situations really, or this job, or this career, even through the fire, they always ask me and my partner G, like, how the hell y'all do it? Y'all got Kanye, y'all got Nicki, y'all got Wayne. And these situations become, y'all be so calm. You're like, what do you want me to do? We're not about to let this, you know, kill us and age us, get heart attacks over this shit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we can't take none of this with us. There's more important things. I think my spiritual grounding along the way, along this journey, has helped me not waver or change who I am. And I've always been that way. I'm the same guy, you know what I'm saying, since I started in this situation.
It's personal for me.
I was about to say, Ray, you got something to say. Ray is over there.
No, because I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's hard to separate business from personal because your business feeds your family.
Yeah.
And sometimes people act like, man, it's just business. Oh, okay, cool.
It's hard.
But it ain't business when I do you dirty.
Right.
It's hard.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to be like.
It's hard.
And, you know, when people start playing for themselves, you kind of got to just sit back and be like, oh, okay.
I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard. I've got.
I already say
I've got moves put on me that probably lost me millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I just had to swallow it because of the.
But another thing that makes it good is that you know you do dirty business, it eventually catches you.
Exactly.
Like there are a lot of people who fucked people over time after time, and by the time they finally get to that point of success, they owe so many people. What they gonna do?
Yep.
So, you know, at the end of the day, if you because if you fuck people, that's what you do. That's who you are. You're gonna fuck them. You're gonna fuck them. You're gonna fuck them. You're gonna fuck everybody. And then all of a sudden, all it's gonna take is 1 or 2 people to have it on there. And plus, you don't want enemies.
Yeah.
You don't need, as an artist, you don't want enemies. So when you fuck people, it's like, oh, okay, that shit will come to pass.
Yep. I agree with that. And that's probably what, out of all them upset times, pissed off times I've been, you know, I've been understanding that I had to or those times I've swallowed, I understood that every time it may have came to one of those situations, you know, we still here 19 years later, you know, we still doing business, having opportunities, you know what I'm saying? Shit, my mom's still good, family's still good.
Doesn't matter.
So, you know, when we bounce, you know, it's never, I feel like I led this journey with purpose coming into it. And as long as I keep that mentality, no matter what when those times come, where those people, then those Judases come and those snakes come.
They coming.
Yeah, they're always around, you know. You know, I always have faith that because I'm still just following my purpose and my pathway, that everything gonna work itself out. And it has been doing that for me and my partners. Like, we all have the same thing we got together.
Y'all still running things. Y'all
still been
things.
rocking with each other for 16 years. You know what I'm saying? Our same fucking partners, and we still creating opportunities for ourselves and our families.
Okay, I know I keep doing this. I'm sorry.
I want to play Put Your Money Where
Your
Your Mouth
I
Is.
know, but I want to ask a question. He a manager, so I want to ask him, and this is personal for me. Sorry, this has nothing to do with nothing. As a manager, who do you think are the next 3 big artists that are gonna blow up the charts?
That's gonna blow up the charts?
Yes, Billboard.
That's gonna blow up the charts. Well, like, that's coming up.
It feels unfair because he's an architect. Am I tripping?
Nah, you ain't tripping. You right.
Because it's kind of like he knows how many things have to fall in place.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
So it's like, he has to analyze. He can't even see the artist holistically. It has to be like, because let's be clear, every artist right now,
the tour set up right.
Yeah, every artist has an opportunity to be next.
Yeah.
But like, if Wayne wouldn't have been what he
So
became,
who's on your radar then? Let's go with that. Who's up and coming artist?
I
That's
don't have
on
nobody really on my radar. What I was shocked about, I could tell you something that was shocking about me because I was looking at a deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this deal that I'm trying to create with this beverage, this alcoholic beverage that wants a female artist that's that appeals to this younger generation, right? So, I'm on there and I'm pitching like, yo, maybe it's Lotto, maybe it's Carisha, maybe it's Glorilla. And Al, my partner, was like, no, it's Ice Spice. It's Ice Spice. It's Ice Spice.
And
I'm like, what? I'm like, what is that? What is that? It's like, it's Ice Spice. He's like, pull up the numbers. So I look at the numbers, and her numbers is blowing out, blowing away all of them. Like all across, like, impressions, every platform, streams, even the music. I'm like, because I know what culture, what I feel. I know I'm hearing Glorilla all the time when I'm in the club. I know what Carisha's brand is doing, for its relevancy, you know what I'm saying? But then but I look at those. No, I did not believe Al. I'm like, no. I was like, I know she got a butt. I know the Kim Kardashians. I know what that means. I was like, maybe she's influential. I know that her music is not great. She like, pull it up, and I pulled it up, and I was like, wow. So I did the analysis. I was like, damn, she's influential in all different ways, and mind you, with that, as an architect, I could take something like that and understand we could create a song. You know what I'm saying? If you got that type of influence, I get a good songwriter, a good producer, and teach a person how to create a song. You have all those other things, these other variables that, that you need to become a superstar, right? I look at that, like, create a song, get our touring right, our strategy right. She's winning in all these other places. I could, as an architect, take based off those numbers, like, it's like, take her and go, shit, Nicki Minaj it.
Yeah.
At this point,
Oh,
And
Nicki did sign her though. So
Nicki, she signed to Nicki now.
yeah.
She signed her?
Yeah, Nicki just signed her.
That's why Nicki just put
Nicki
the record out
opened
with
the
her.
record label. Yeah,
That's
that was
amazing.
her first artist.
Shout out Nicki. Congratulations on that.
All right, perfect. So Tamir, so
Yay, it's
Ted,
time
we
to
play
play.
we play this game called
That's
good.
Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, where we give you 3 names of 3 artists, situations, and you have to pick one to sign, one you're going to put in development, and the other you're going to drop.
Okay. Sign.
By the way, you have to make these decisions as a. So we talking about blueprint right now.
Okay.
We're looking at these artists, and you got to pick one to sign, drop, develop. If you don't pick one,
drop.
You'll appreciate this. If you don't pick one, you have to donate $20.
Okay.
To the Kids Academy, Creative Academy. It's a nonprofit that we are associated with that gives opportunities to kids, kind of like what you do. So
okay.
You don't lose. Nobody loses either way.
Okay.
But
sign, develop, drop.
So sign, drop, develop. And Tamira just sent me the first one I'm gonna say, and she never sends one. Ice Spice, Lotto, Glorilla.
Okay, I would sign Ice Spice based off this. I would develop Glorilla just because the hook on the culture.
Alina, you're out of there, buddy.
And sorry, Lotto.
Okay, then you gotta finish. You gotta finish the statement.
I thought I gotta elaborate on.
No. You don't know. You have to elaborate, but you can't. You gotta say I'm dropping Lotto. You gotta finish.
I have to drop Lotto.
Okay, perfect. Let's go. This one is gonna be easy. This one is usually hard, but I feel like it's easy for you. T.I., Ludacris, Wayne.
Oh shit! These are all my friends, man. Oh shit!
Never
How much you gotta donate?
$20.
These are all my friends. Listen, this is just a game, friends. If y'all see this, I would sign Wayne. I would develop Tip, and I would drop Luda. Oh my god!
Why though?
Huh?
Why?
I signed Wayne because
Obvious reason.
I mean,
sold $1 million
if I didn't know him, he's so influential. We talking about at this point right now?
No, we're talking about their career. You want
career.
their stuff, their music career on your label.
Yeah, so I would sign Wayne because, just how influential he was, his stage presence, how he set himself apart and understanding his brand. Tip, I would develop because you know he has a certain swagger about himself that separates him from everybody else. His lingo, his voice and cadence, you know what I'm saying? He really has a southern draw that's like none other, you know. So I would develop him and help grow his brand to do more things to help him take him over the top. And drop Luda only because, you know, Luda flow I don't think ever evolved, you know what I'm saying? He always, you know, so I know he's good to make a great record, but I didn't see any, you know, I saw it as just that, as he may be good as his next record, and I didn't see an evolution of his flow. It might have got, you know, dated.
Okay. All right, got you.
That
So
was a really good
next
analysis.
next
That was
one
good.
is
Y'all put me on the spot.
next one is 8 Baller MJG, UGK, Outkast.
Sheesh. Okay. All right. Damn, boy.
Kids get 20. I'll be feeding the kids tomorrow. They gonna get peace on Tez. I'm just saying.
favorite groups.
Me too. That's why I'm good at.
These are my favorite damn groups. I would definitely sign Outkast.
For sure.
You know, just alone, you know, how talented those dudes were. There was, you know, before that, you know, I'm an Outkast fan, some players, but they just came out different, soulful, you know, Dre in itself as a lyricist, you know, and creating great songs. I would develop UGK. I would develop UGK because I felt like Pimp and Bun, lyrically, Bun and Pimp, that tone, you can't match that, you know, and it had room to grow to develop into something bigger. And damn, I love 8 Ball and MJG.
Coming
but
out
I would
hard.
have to drop.
Coming out hard is incredible.
I would have classic, bro, classic. But I would have to drop 8 Ball and MJG, probably for the same reason of the
Because
Luda.
let's be clear, UGK don't have a better album than Coming Out Hard.
They don't. But I see.
But Pimp C was that.
But I see.
Dog.
Yeah, I know what Bun B and Pimp C have, like, individually, that could be developed into something greater. Like, they could be A&R to a great. Nothing's better. Coming Out Hard was like a classic. That's middle school for me. So, yeah, but I still think that 8 Ball and MJG, I feel like as artists, Pimp C and UGK had more room to grow. So that's why I can
take that.
That's why I would develop them, you know.
A little bit more Southern.
Yeah.
8 Ball MJG was a slightly country. Like
Yeah.
it was like that line between Southern and country.
Yeah. God damn, boy.
Yeah, crazy.
What the
All right, cool.
hell
I'm gonna
is
give you a
it?
couple
Wait,
more.
hold on. What is the line between Southern and country? I missed something.
Okay, so T.I. is Southern. Boosie is country.
Braxton looked like he went to fight me just now.
No. T.I. is Southern. Boosie is country.
Okay, that's all I got. It makes sense. Totally get
Lil
it.
Wayne started off, he was never probably country, but he became Southern King and then East Coast and everything. So country is country. Like, nobody in the South, I ain't gonna say, let me not say.
Right.
I would say, I don't know, because I don't know if people in the South really want to refer to themselves as country. Country is kind of like, you country.
Country's a
Yeah.
little better.
Like, I'm from the country, bro. Like, we,
Big
you know,
Crip
like,
in the country.
yeah, like, you know, country is country.
All right, that's
Yeah.
what I want.
All right, cool. So I got a couple more. Doja Cat, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B.
Doja Cat, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. I would definitely sign Nicki Minaj. I would develop Cardi just because, you know, I feel like, I mean, they've done a good job with her. You know, I think that she has a personality of a star. Like, she has an emotional connection to her fans that has room to grow, to keep growing, you know what I'm saying? Because she's authentic and she stands for something, you know, and it's a real thing. And I think that that's how you create those cults and those cult followers, by having a connection outside of your music to grow. So I would develop her understanding that she has plenty more room to grow product and all types of things that Cardi could do based off her emotional connection to her fans outside of her music. And Doja, I don't understand what she is, so I would drop her. Even though she's talented, I don't know what her brand really is, so I'll drop her.
Good point. All right, cool. We get a couple more. You want an R&B one?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Saying Chris Brown, Usher, R. Kelly.
Shit. God, no. Oh man, I can't drop that. I ain't gonna drop.
We get $20 for the kids.
No,
I gotta get $20.
$20 for the kids, everybody. The kids are gonna be eating pizza.
None of them.
We're gonna send Tez pictures of the kids eating pizza, guys. It's gonna be a good day. They're gonna throw a drop saying, "Thanks, Tez." I'm telling you. All right, cool. All right, cool. Drew Hill, Jodeci, Boys the Men.
Shit. Damn, boy. Drew Hill, Jodeci, Boys to Men. Man. How the hell you gonna pick? I should have stood on rap, bro. I don't know.
He's like, wow, this
I don't know how the hell to.
We get $40 for the kids. It's all good.
I gotta give it
$40 for the kids,
I don't know how
everybody.
to goddamn.
Nobody loses in this game.
I
Nobody
don't
loses
know
in
how
this
to
game.
do
You know,
that.
it's because he's looking at it from a branding perspective.
I like how he's looking at
I
it.
listen to the
Amazing.
music though. Also,
Like, I don't know how to brand this. Like,
All right,
what-
cool.
what I'ma do?
Two more. First one is J. Cole, Kendrick, Travis Scott. 3 strong ass brands.
I would sign Kendrick.
$60 for the kids. We get $60 for the kids.
I would develop J. Cole and drop Travis Scott.
I love it. All right, last one. Last one. Jay-Z,
Oh shit.
Kanye
That was
West,
bad.
Drake.
Oh my! Come on now.
Do the kids get
Somebody
that?
got to do it.
Come
We get
on
the
now.
60 for the
That's
kids.
$60.
$60 for the kids. $60 for the kids. That's it. All right,
I
cool.
thought you was going to
That
make
was
an executive
No,
decision.
I like that. He's smart. He's
I
smart.
can't do that.
Anybody, these motherfuckers will call him.
Yes.
Be like, yo, I need your help. Hold on. Did you say you gonna drop? You
Did
pay
you
that.
drop me?
That $20 is gonna come back and pay him later. All right. So we had this part of the show. Before we wrap, we had this part of the show where we don't give people flowers here on the God Show. We give people credit.
Yeah.
So like, if you can give me 2 or 3 names, obviously you can say mom and dad, but
Yeah.
2 or 3 not so obvious names of people who helped you along the journey that you want to just give a shout out to, because they could leverage this. They could be like, look,
Industry.
In the industry, I think first and foremost is probably my partner G Roberson.
G. Roberson. Love
G freaking, I wish I could, because it's gonna be my partners, all of them. I mean, I pick G and Sean G. I mean, we kind of co-owners of Blueprint, but I wish I could pick my whole team. But I'm the youngest of the crew, right? And I credit, I couldn't pick my artist, right? Because I would definitely.
It could be whoever you want to pick.
Well, Wayne and G Roberson. Let me do that. I can't do
Perfect.
that. All right, because Wayne saw
Brought you
something
in the
in me
game.
that I didn't see in myself. Like literally saw something that changed my life.
Mm.
So there's nobody that's gonna, trump that about him. He literally made my life what it is now, and I give him all the credit in the world. And G Roberson is the one who made all these ideas and thoughts in my head about how to manage an artist and the things to do make sense, and he helped elevate me help elevate me as a partner to the point, where I am, to being in the right rooms and understanding the business as what it was. So those 2 people I definitely give credit to for the reason why I'm sitting here.
Of course, last question to me.
All right.
By the way, the show is called The God Show. The God Show is an acronym for GOATs and Underdogs.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's what it stands for. So the last question I gotta ask you is: do you consider yourself a GOAT or underdog, and why?
I don't know. I don't think I
Oh.
consider myself either. I'm definitely not the GOAT. I know I'm not that. I'm not that. There's people who paved the way for me and did this, who I look up to and learn, especially to manage the Russells. And it's a lot. It's too many people. Jays did it. So many people gave me advice along the way, along my journey, these 19 years, that I would never claim that title. I don't think that I'm an underdog, though. I don't think a lot of people know me, but the people that do, I think.
They would call
They
you the
know.
GOAT, bro.
They know what it is.
Bro, you managed the artist that sold 1 million in the first week.
Right. I don't know how we gonna sit here and say
how
it's
many
not
of us
GOAT
can say they
level.
done that?
I don't know. I take that term. I don't lightly use that term though. Like I don't know. Like I look at that. Listen, I'm super blessed, and I didn't.
Down.
It took me to this point in my career. Actually, when I moved back to when things start slowing down for me, and to really start looking at all these accolades. And I think the first time, maybe like 3 years ago, when Drake was winning that Billboard 10 years, you know, he came here. We took a shot. He was staying in my apartment, like making So Far Gone at the 12 I had. And he was like, yo, we celebrate 10 years of me being in this business. Let's go back to when you was letting me stay in your apartment, that bar I used to go to every day. Let's take a shot, you know, and let's take a shot to the success. And it just hit me at that point. I'm like, damn, you know, you one of the greatest to do this. And, you know, so it took me a long time to resonate. So I'm trying to accept, you know.
Your position in it.
Yeah, my position in the things that I did to help these artists fulfill their dreams.
But last thing before, I know we got to go, but I just want to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about the programs that you're running?
Oh, yeah.
You're doing some dope shit for up-and-coming music executives.
Yeah, Purpose now, man. Purpose has shifted for me. I felt like
that name.
I've been so blessed along these years to work with all these talented people. I thought that this chapter of my journey is about paying it forward and give it back. One of the things I did, I went back to my alma mater, Jackson State University. I've been teaching that for the last couple years. But I'm also starting in the fall with developing a 2-year music business certificate program at Jackson State, and plan on licensing it to other HBCUs. One thing I saw was that although hip hop is the largest genre in the world, we got 100 HBCUs. We gotta have 5 of them that really have music business programs. So we're not training the next thinkers around our artists to stop making the same mistakes we've been making throughout history. So that's on my journey. Then we have a music industry pipeline program called Project Go Dark that run out here in Atlanta. It's literally an internship program. We target students from in and around Atlanta. So right now, mostly HBCUs, Georgia State, black kids. They're very intentional black. To give them sort of like a 2-week crash course in the music business, depending on what they're interested in. We call our friends around the city. LVRN, QC, Shannon, you took an intern last cohort, right, over here. So
we had an intern over here.
Yeah, I had an intern over here. Yeah. So we call our friends up and see if they want to help to shape these next brilliant minds, you know, to try to protect our culture, man.
Love that.
Dope. So I just want to say, bro, you the GOAT.
Bro, I appreciate it.
Nah, seriously, bro. Like,
yeah.
if there's kids watching this, I just want them to pay attention to the fact that you could have just stayed Lil Wayne's friend.
Yeah.
You could have just been like, I'm Lil Wayne's friend. That's why I'm lucky to be here. And you didn't. You took the ball he gave you. And I'm pretty sure there was a lot of other people that had access that didn't do what you did.